The boss of a clothing factory in Dongguan, Guangdong, ran away during the National Day holiday. You're not coming to the factory, are you? The boss took all the machines overnight. Everything is gone, and we can't find any of our tools. The economic downturn in China continues to worsen, and the real economy is declining. Before the National Day holiday on October 1st, there were already reports of numerous factory closures. Many factory owners in places like Dongguan and Hangzhou secretly left during the holiday. These were once major manufacturing hubs. Some private factories gave workers 2 or 3 days off, but when the holiday was over, workers returned to find the equipment gone and the boss had vanished. Not only are workers not getting any compensation, but some haven't even received their overdue wages. Many workers are in distress. Some have reported the situation to the police, and others are left wondering, what has the world come to?
Oh no, the boss has run off. We've reported it to the police. There's nothing left in the factory. Better call the police now. Many workers still haven't gotten their wages. The boss disappeared overnight.
The man in the video works at a garment factory in Hangzhou. It said that the factory's boss owed employees 4 months of wages and fled during the National Day holiday, leaving the workers with no way to claim their pay. In Jinan, a factory boss who hadn't paid his employees was caught by the workers as he was trying to escape. The employees told him, "Give us our money. There's no room for excuses."
I heard about the bosses running away during the holidays, but I didn't expect the same thing to happen to my factory. When we came back after the holiday, the boss was gone too. What has the world come to?
This year's National Day Golden Week, usually a time of booming business, was unusually quiet, and many industries were hit hard. After the holiday, physical stores experienced a drastic drop in sales, leading to another wave of closures.
After the holiday, there was a surge in restaurant closures. Many owners used the last opportunity to clear out their stores, and on some days, we saw 5 or 6 places shut down. We're in Yongzhou, working in secondhand recovery, handling new and old equipment from KTVs, foot spas, and restaurants.
After the Golden Week, there were crowds but no customers, and no one was spending money. Business was much worse than during the May holiday, and a wave of restaurant closures has begun. Even the well-known restaurant brand Wasabiya in Hangzhou is among the businesses that have shut down. Recently, it was revealed that multiple locations of this brand closed overnight. According to Chinese media reports, several Wasabiya restaurant locations in Hangzhou have closed. Most of these stores have posted notices such as equipment maintenance or temporarily closed. Many customers have expressed concerns that their prepaid cards still have remaining balances, ranging from a few hundred to several thousand yuan. A former employee posted online that the company started delaying salary payments to employees 2 months ago, and the owner is suspected of having withdrawn funds and fled. A screenshot from social media shows a group named Labor Dispute with Wasabiya Restaurant Management, containing 175 members. According to a report, Xiao Tian, a former chef at a branch of Wasabiya, said the closure came as a complete surprise. There were no prior warnings. Due to unpaid rent to the mall, the management sealed the store, and now leadership has told employees to find other jobs. Xiao Tian mentioned that he's owed over 2 months' worth of wages, totaling more than 10,000 yuan, and the store manager is owed more than 5 months' worth of pay. Even the dishwashers haven't received their wages. Now all the Wasabiya stores in Hangzhou have closed down. A search for Wasabiya on a group buying platform shows that 22 chain stores in Hangzhou are marked as closed or temporarily closed. One of Wasabiya's meat suppliers, named Ahai, said that the company owes him around 1 million yuan in unpaid supply fees. When he visited the headquarters in Hangzhou, he found it locked. Ahai said, "On the morning of September 25th, we were still making regular deliveries to several locations, and the restaurants were operating normally, with customers waiting for tables. But the next day, it was as if the whole system collapsed. Overnight, all the stores in Hangzhou shut down. A brand that had been deeply rooted in Hangzhou for so many years, and the speed at which they closed was unbelievable." In addition to Hangzhou, a large number of Wasabiya stores in cities like Xi'an, Fuzhou, Chongqing, Shaoxing, and Cixi have all closed. Currently, the only remaining Wasabiya Creative Cuisine location in Chengdu is located at SKP Mall, but according to reviews on public platforms, this store is also temporarily closed. A staff member at the store confirmed that it is closed for equipment maintenance, and there's no clear timeline for reopening. Public records show that the headquarters of Hangzhou Wasabiya Restaurant Management Company Limited was established in 2011. The company once operated over 40 directly managed stores across the country under brands such as Wasabiya and Xinzhuzan. Right now, China's economy is facing a significant downturn, and many brick-and-mortar businesses are struggling to stay afloat. Many ordinary citizens are also feeling the impact of this economic cold wave. Mr. Wang, a convenience store owner in Dongguan, shared his concerns about the current state of China's economy. He noted that with the economic downturn, people simply don't have the money to spend, causing many stores to close down. In some cases, a shop will change hands several times a year without success. He also mentioned that even going back to farming in his hometown doesn't bring in much income, and there are more and more homeless people on the streets. Mr. Wang explained, "Sometimes I can't even cover the basic fees of running the store, let alone making a living. Business is bad, and I feel very depressed and anxious. Many people can't afford rent, and shops are closing left and right. I have to pay hundreds of yuan in rent every day, and I'd like to transfer the store, but no one's willing to take over. I have children in school, and their tuition costs tens of thousands of yuan a year. I haven't bought a single piece of clothing in 2 years." Mr. Li, a resident of Xiamen working in the tourism industry, echoed similar concerns. In previous years, business was booming during the National Day holidays, but this year there was no business at all. Li said that with the exodus of foreign investment, Xiamen is no longer the prosperous city it once was, and even though property prices have halved, there are no buyers. He stays in touch with people from various industries, and the National Day holiday, which used to be a golden week, was exceptionally quiet. Mr. Li added, "Many brick-and-mortar stores have closed, and on some streets, entire sections have shut down. The rent is so high, no one can afford to open a business. There's no business to be had. On what once was the busiest street, Zhongshan Road, most stores are empty now. A shop can go through 3 different owners in a year, but after 2 or 3 months without any business, they just give up." The closures of brick-and-mortar stores are largely due to reduced consumer spending. Li gave an example. "People aren't even going to hair salons anymore because getting a haircut is cheaper on the streets. In my neighborhood, people who used to love traveling are no longer going on trips. Many taxis in Xiamen have stopped operating, and people are buying electric scooters to save money. A few years ago, we used to meet several times a month for meals and drinks with friends, but now we don't even meet once every 6 months. It's mainly because people don't have money anymore. They've cut back on spending, wages have decreased, but prices continue to rise." China's weak consumption is also evident in the latest data from the film market. According to the 2024 National Day Film Data Insight Report released by Maoyan Research Institute on October 8th, this year's total box office during the Golden Week holiday dropped 23% compared to the same period last year. The number of moviegoers fell 20%, screenings decreased by 8.7%, and the average ticket price hit a 4-year low. Under the current poor economic conditions, Chinese consumers have clearly been cutting back on entertainment expenses. Many said that unless there's a blockbuster movie, they have little incentive to go to the theater. Even pharmacies and small clinics, once bustling with business, are now experiencing a wave of closures. Dr. Wang Jian from Guangdong shared that after his retirement, he worked at a small clinic. After the COVID-19 restrictions were lifted at the end of 2022, there were more patients than they could handle. But this year, it's been eerily quiet. The clinic's rent is 12,000 yuan a month, and they can't even break even. Dr. Wang added, "The economy in China is terrible right now, and there's no business. Many small stalls and clinics have closed down because there are no patients. The bosses are suffering huge losses, and I haven't been paid in a year. Those who made a fortune were the ones involved in the vaccines, billions in corruption, and people are really angry." Liu, who works in education and training in Sanya, revealed that it's difficult to do business in China, mainly due to rampant corruption among officials. He explained, "It's impossible to succeed in business these days. The biggest problem in China is the lack of protection for private property. Business owners are like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Even if you run an honest business, one day someone will come to extort money from you, and the next day someone else will do the same. They can cut off your power or water whenever they want. When people target you, there's no way to run a business long term." The economic downturn has triggered a wave of closures, giving rise to a new industry, the professional closure agents. These agents help businesses run off with their money, shut down, and evade debts, leaving consumers with no way to seek justice. In recent years, education and training institutions, gyms, hair salons, yoga studios, and other businesses that operate on a prepaid model frequently cases of owners fleeing with the money, leaving consumers cheated. Behind these incidents are a group of professional closure agents who operate in a gray area. According to Chinese media, a woman named Zhang Yu from Wuhan has encountered 3 instances of businesses closing down and fleeing in the past 4 years, losing her nearly 20,000 in total. In 2020, a real estate platform launched a promotion, and Zhang Yu paid 15,000 yuan upfront to rent an apartment in the high-tech zone. However, 3 months later, the landlord called, saying that the platform had been behind on rent payments for 2 months and demanded that Zhang Yu move out. Zhang Yu explained that more than 300 people had been scammed and that the rental agency had vanished. The person in charge had run off, and even the employees hadn't been paid. After consulting with several law firms, she was told that the chances of recovering her losses were slim. Zhang said the lawyer fees alone start at 2,000 yuan. Even if we win the case, the rental platform and the company's legal representative probably won't have enough assets for enforcement. In 2022, a fitness club in Wuhan held a promotion, and Zhang spent 2,850 yuan on an annual membership. Just a week later, the gym shut down. After doing some research online, she discovered that the gym had undergone a complete corporate change in May 2022, and the company was officially dissolved in July. Cheng Ming, a fitness coach, is also a victim of these professional closure agents. He has yet to receive 13,000 yuan in unpaid wages. Chen explained that there are warning signs before a gym engages in professional closure. The first is a significant price reduction, followed by a strategy of relaunching pre-sales, offering extremely low prices on memberships and classes. At his gym, there were 2,000 to 3,000 members, and this pre-sale tactic was used to lure customers to deposit money before the business closed and the owner disappeared. On some social media platforms in China, professional closure agents openly advertise their services, targeting businesses that are struggling or preparing to close. They plan the shutdown process and have created a gray industry chain. According to Ms. Shen, a professional closure agent, she mainly handles closures in Jiangsu, Shanghai, and Guangdong. Since June and July of this year, she has been continuously helping businesses close down. Ms. Shen explained that they can arrange for people to accompany the business owner to the industrial and commercial department to complete company changes, assuming debt liabilities. The fees range from 50,000 to 150,000 yuan, depending on the case. She said, for those who charge over 100,000 yuan, they're usually taking on companies with 3 to 4 million yuan in debt. Ms. Shen also assured clients that after the company's legal representative is changed, there's no risk of the former owner being labeled a defaulter. Many of these professional closure agents find elderly men from rural villages, pay them 50,000 to take over, and the agents make 10 times that. The original owners avoid millions in debt and start fresh. The elderly don't care about being labeled as deadbeats. It's a vicious cycle. Another remarked that the rise of professional closure agents highlights the ongoing economic decline in China. Recently, the Chinese government introduced new policies aimed at stimulating the property market and injected significant capital to boost the stock market. While there has been a slight rebound in real estate and a sharp surge in the stock market, many economists believe that without support from the real economy, this false sense of prosperity may be short-lived. Nomura Securities has warned that after this frenzy in the Chinese stock market, a collapse could soon follow, potentially repeating the disaster of 2015. The reason is that the foundation of China's economy is more fragile now than it was before the pandemic. The real economy relies heavily on consumption. However, a key indicator of China's economic health, South Korea's exports to China slowed in September compared to August. The strong exports in August were driven by China's demand for semiconductor products. The decline in imports highlights China's ongoing weak domestic demand, as the economy continues to be dragged down by a prolonged slump in the real estate market and increased concerns over job security. As the gloomy outlook for China's economy persists, many are wondering which industry will be hit next. According to a report by Voice of America, Xie Tian, a business professor at the University of South Carolina, predicts that China's auto industry may be the next to suffer. Tian explained that while government subsidies have fueled the growth of the electric vehicle industry in China, many automakers are still facing significant losses. Without subsidies, these companies may not survive. He added that if the government continues with subsidies, it could become unsustainable for the government itself. Therefore, a wave of bankruptcies and mergers in the auto industry seems likely, especially as China's electric vehicle and autonomous driving sectors face global restrictions. Large-scale layoffs could soon follow. Meanwhile, Li Hengqing, an economist at the Institute for Information and Strategic Studies in Maryland, believes that the economic downturn in China is unstoppable, and the effects of this economic winter will continue to expand, impacting more and more areas. He is particularly concerned about the next area of focus, asset security. Li explained that the assets of Chinese citizens are concentrated in two areas, housing and banks. Chinese property developers have relied on banks for growth, and real estate tycoons like Evergrande's Xu Jiayin, who once seemed as wealthy as nations, were actually drowning in debt. These developers engaged in bribery to enrich government officials, while in the end, the money came from ordinary homeowners. Now, with property prices falling, developers have turned banks into bad assets. This could trigger a systemic financial crisis, where one bank after another collapses, like a snowballing avalanche. He firmly believes that if banks go bankrupt and enter liquidation, the Chinese government will not be able to cover the losses. The case of the Henan Rural Commercial Bank, which suffered a 40 billion yuan financial scandal a few years ago, is a prime example. In that instance, only deposits under 50,000 yuan were compensated, while those with higher deposits have yet to see any resolution.